amendment to section.
Brandon, you ready? Okay. The city council will reconvene in the open session regarding item 11, approving and amending the current city manager employment agreement and authorizing manager to sign said agreement. Is there a motion?
In regards to approving and amending the current city manager employment agreement and authorizing mayor to execute said agreement, motion to amend section 3 salary. City agrees to pay the manager an annual base salary, which salary shall initially be $225,000, payable in equal installments at the same time as other employees of the city. Also amending section 13 termination and severance pay. 13B, resignation. If the manager terminates this agreement by voluntary resignation, the manager shall give no less than 180 days notice in advance unless the council agrees otherwise.
I'll second. All right, any further discussion? All right, hearing none, Fran, please call the roll.
Councilmember Booker.
Yes.
Councilmember Rowan.
Yes.
It looks like she's Councilmember Schneider.
Yes.
Councilmember Christensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Crawford.
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
6 months. Minimum. All right, item N, presentation of investment report for quarter ending 6/30/2025.
You have your investment report for the quarter ending June 30th, 25. And our interest rates are nudging their way back down, but they're still good. We ranged in the pool anywhere from 4.32 up to 4.43 on average for the quarter. And our CDs that we have balanced out are one that's getting ready to mature is about a 3.4, and then ranging on up to a 4.24%. We're diversified. You can see the percentage. We just have a little less than 2% in CDs, and the majority, 98%, in pools and the money market account and the deposit. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Anybody have any questions for Diane? Okay. Okay, thank you, ma'am. All right, item 6, city manager report.
Capital improvement project. So I got you a little handout here. Go over this one real quick. So Civic Center, City Hall renovations, they're moving along really good. In the photo there, you can see the slab foundation preparation. That is going to be on the City Hall side of the improvements for this project. It should be pouring in the next couple days. They're just waiting on their rebar inspection, but it's been going really good. On the west side of the building, they've done all the all the digging out. They've done the lifts on the fill, so it's all been compacted. So as soon as they get this one poured, they'll transition back over to the other side and start with the foundation and slab repairs on this side. So it's moving really good. AEP has some work to do getting because the transformer, which is right kind of outside here by the fuel tank, it's being moved back towards the Place Hotel. So that's every time you do something like that with AEP, it's just it's like pulling teeth, because there's, we're involved, AEP's involved, the city's electrical providers involved. So there's a lot of coordination. So it is moving though. So moving forward. And also the temporary generator arrives Tuesday. So when we decommission this one, we will have the temporary generator, the standby generator ready, so to get us through the rest of the hurricane season. Street and drainage bond, Cemetery Road is finished, looks really great. Brumley drainage started today. Cotter Avenue bike lane striping has been completed. Port Street, we still have reflective markers, I believe. Mayor, if you've driven it, did you see any reflective markers?
Not today.
Not today, so that's coming. And then still 9th Street half of the Ninth Street alley, slightly delayed due to struggling utilities. Brightspeed and some others that need to move their facilities out of the way, because we did a lot of pole realignment and moving and taking down of overhead lines back in that alley behind the fire and EMS and public works, just for clearance purposes. So that's been a huge struggle. So it's delayed the finishing up of the alley. Streetscape project, of course, that is tied to the venue election, goes to the voters in November. Community center renovations are moving. They just started, I think, progressing a little bit better in the last couple of weeks. They have a new superintendent on site, so we're seeing a little bit better traction out of this guy. Still doing interior work on some flooring, re-leveling. It's a super old foundation and a lot of warbles and wobbles, and it's, when you're putting in a wood floor on top of warbles and wobbles, it's quite the headache. So they're doing a lot of micro adjusting underneath the building. They have demoed the front porch in that one photo to the right. They've demoed the front porch. I don't know if you remember, but it had about a 9% slope on it. So we're getting that corrected. Still working on exterior waterproofing that continues. The door and window selections have been finalized, and the materials for the exterior bathrooms that you guys added on, that's all on site. So we'll start seeing the foundation work for that, and the ramps that go up to the new bathroom. That's all underway. Unused kitchen appliances were removed and auctioned off. Made a little money, not a lot. Made a little bit. Roberts Point Park bulkhead collapse. So you have two images there. The image on the left shows you can see the steel sheet pile in the background there. That's the dark stuff, and it's kind of got a corrugated pattern to it. Those are all filled with concrete, and then you see the new rock revetment. We put in about 100+ feet of the rock revetment at the toe of that 16-foot hole. And then there's a close-up on the right-hand side of the sheet pile. Now, what was not in this project was the cap that will cover that and the new sidewalk. So that's in the budget coming up. So we'll bid that out as a small separate project. But they're just about done. They have one more portion of the sheet pile that they got to fill with concrete, and that'll be finished. And then we'll come back and do the cap and sidewalk separately. Beach Access Road 1B. The photo on the left, that's a view from 361. And then on the photo on the right, it's the actual road already cutting through the dune. So it's all the way cut. They've been working on the grading. They have the utilities installed for drainage. So there is a drainage that connects right here. We have drainage that connects into this detention pond in Cinnamon Shore South. And so we have drainage up and down the facility and connectivity to that Cinnamon Shore drainage. And then we also brought water from Cinnamon Shore Water District water that will come down and provide the shower water. So that's been installed too. So it's moving. It's well underway, ahead of schedule, we think, and they're prepping for concrete. So it's moving pretty good. And then we're also, as one of the speakers mentioned, we're working on getting a working TxDOT, trying to get some form of light there. The request will be a full-blown light. We don't know what the response from TxDOT will be. If they say, no, you're going to flash it. So we'll see how they come back, but that's moving forward too. Recreation Center, kind of off to a slow start. Contractors still working. The plans are at the Water District, have not come back to the city yet. And so right now he's doing fence prep and getting ready to put his job shack out on location, so they were in yesterday, and we had a chat with them about getting moving. Charlie's Pasture Bulkhead Park, okay, that's the $8 million, now $4 million project. And we're gonna be presenting that to you guys at the October 16th council meeting on how we scale that back and how we wanna phase it. So we'll be bringing that to you guys on the 16th. Lifeguard building, that's awaiting the fire and EMS laydown yard to free up. Another impact of the delay. So, of course, we rebudgeted that in this budget cycle. So hopefully, once they get the walls finished on the second floor and get the roof on, that laydown yard frees up somewhat. So we'll see if we can get enough space in there to start that one. And then last but not least, Avenue G and Station Street traffic light. It is out to bid. Bids close September 4th. And then we'll bring that to you guys. I don't think I need to bring it to you on the 11th. I'll probably just wait for the following week and just bring it to you at the regular council meeting.
Any other questions for
Any
David
questions on
regarding the capital project?
Projects. Ledge update. Okay, so we are now in the second special session of the ledge, because the first session, the Dems hightailed it out of town and went on the run. And I think they brought the first session to a halt. Now a whole bunch of them came back. So the second session has kicked off. I think it kicked off Monday. Yeah, Monday. But it's basically the same. I don't know what they've added. It's still the same list as before. It's a lot of the flooding, a lot of the redistricting. There's still the no lobbyist thing is in there, although it's been kind of watered down a little bit. It's a little bit more palatable now. So we are tracking that. One issue that we're tracking, it's not really in the special session right now, but it's a legislative issue, and that's the food truck issue. The ledge kind of botched it's House Bill, what is it,
2844.
2844. They kind of botched it, and they have two paragraphs. One paragraph says a city cannot preempt this bill and prohibit food trucks. And then about 8 paragraphs down, it says a food truck must comply with all local laws. So we're all like, okay, which is it? Which rule prevails? So, and that is one reason why we wanted to fund the lobbyist again, because that law does not go into effect until July 1st of 26. Over the winter, the Texas Department of Health and Safety,
In May, yeah, in May, they have to have those rules.
yeah, they have a rule committee that's gonna establish all the food truck rules over the winter. So we are going to need to get in there. There'll be a lot of public comment, but one issue, and I spoke with Patricia Shipton, she was our lobbyist this past ledge update. So she went and has already talked to the author of 2488, and he had no idea, because he got so much grief for food trucks that at one point, he said, all right, I'm gonna remove the mandate and make them all abide by local law. And he thought that edit got put in, and it did. But what didn't happen was someone didn't remove the previous rule that said this law preempts local law. So both of those ended up there. He had no idea that edit mistake ended up in the final rule, but that's the one that passed. So we have to figure out how we can undo that and get clarification. So we've sent it to Todd Hunter. So we'll have our lobbyist, and we'll have Chairman Hunter and his group and staff, and we'll just keep working it. And the main thing is tracking this thing and getting involved, and maybe it ends up being an attorney general opinion that weighs in, and because if you go back and read all the minutes of the bill, I think you will find where they intended to make local rule the law. And so it's something that we got to clean up, and it's a mess. So we'll have that on our plate over the winter. So that's kind of the ledge update. Any questions on the ledge update? And if you ever want a good ledge update, you can go to TML, and they give an update once a week, and it's pretty in depth. So if you guys wanted to check that out. And that's it.
Any other questions for David? We'll move on to staff reports. Item 7, we'll start with Darla, accounting and finance.
I apologize, this wasn't in your packet, but I took Friday and Monday off. So I emailed everyone. And then I put a hard copy at your place. You might have the email with. For the hotel tax, the month of July was, it's June, was very good. Collections were up 11.83% for the month. So we're at 6.71% for the year, on track to outperform our best year, which was the fiscal year ending September 2023. Sales tax for that same period was at 17.6%, up 7.57 for the year. Harbor was down in quarterly about 2.4%, dailies down 11% for the year, and golf carts were about 500 ahead of where we were through July of 2024. Any questions? Are you happy to answer anything you want to address?
Any questions for Darla? Well, okay. Thank you, ma'am. All right, next is Development Services Director, Ms. Boyer.
I apologize also for not having this in the packet. I've been out for the next several weeks, but it's healing nicely, and we'll be back with us soon. You guys have a hard copy of this. I do this. So permits year to date, 69 with 8 still under review. And I want to clarify that previous years, we just counted submitted permits, not ones that were issued. So the previous years include submitted and issued and under review. So that number should be 77 in comparison to the rest of the numbers there. So pretty on track with kind of our regular average. If you take out the COVID plus that we had, we've got about 20 commercial permits year to date so far. We're just getting permits started for the rec center. We actually have the lifeguard building under review, so that those delays can hopefully be made up in some small way by kind of the quick review of everything. And so they officially submitted their civil plans for their water park amenity review last week. Some notable commercial projects: renovation of Seaside Hotel, new Life in Paradise offices that are going to be down 11th Street, and then all the same ones that have been on previous months. Our code enforcement activity for the month of July, we had 37, mostly junk vehicles, brush piles, trash toters, those kind of normal things. They've also tagged 6 different vehicles, 4 boat trailers, 2 RVs. We've issued 24 citations, which is pretty heavy, but we're citing a couple of locations multiple times a week for being in violation of. One of them is in violation of our food truck, our mobile vending ordinance, and one of them is in violation of the required number of seats. And, I mean, the required number of parking spaces versus seats that they have in the restaurant. Beach Lodge, we actually have made some pretty good progress this week. Today specifically, we have done all of our inspections on the property. I put together the June permit that's going to go to planning and zoning next week. Work with GLO, it should come to council in September. We're hoping for a demolition of those buildings at the end of September, early October. Same with 528 Farm Lane that had a homestead exception on it until late last week. that has now been removed, and we're moving forward with bids to have that property demo. We had one more substandard structure that we were gonna have a BOA meeting about to have removed, but that property owner and contractor came in and willingly pulled a demolition permit. They haven't acted on it yet, but that is in place, and that's their intention. They've also, code enforcement has issued some stop work orders and gotten some people to pull permits where they were doing work without. They've done a lot of beach patrols. Recently, they've stopped a lot of people from like cordoning off sections of the beach with ropes and fake fences and things. They've caught a couple of RFPs that haven't been parked perpendicular. Typically, that's the police that handle it, but they will mention that to people when they're out on the beach. In addition, they've worked with short-term rental trash, and there's been a lot more spectrum and bright speed lines that have been down, and Carla is good at getting a hold of those people and getting those lines fixed pretty quickly. As far as short-term rentals, right now we have 3,222 registered, and that's up from a little over 2,800 last year. Laura also has 15 that are pending for approval for registration. That's people that have already paid, but she hasn't worked through the process, so they have an open permit or some kind of issue that's keeping that from being approved. There was only 5 complaints received in July, and all were taken care of pretty quickly. She has issued an additional 5 citations for failing to be registered, failing to pay property tax. And great job.
Any other questions for Nicole? Great report. Thank you, ma'am. All right, EMS director. Substitute, best substitute out there. Sure, come on in.
Always a pleasure to come talk with you all about what our EMS is doing. So if you didn't know, Chief Johnson's in Austin at a GTAC meeting. He'll be there all week. And GTAC, yeah, it's Governor's Board of EMS and Trauma Council. So they push for legislation in the EMS industry. So kind of cool. Get some fun things that come out of that, like stroke legislation, pediatrics, our whole blood that we're doing. That all comes from. Yeah, got the uniform on, the new uniform, got our new city patch, so
Very
excited about that.
sharp.
It's no blue polo and khakis, but haven't gotten to that level yet. Maybe one day.
You're
All
gonna
right.
be sitting right there.
Yeah, I know. Looks a little bit more comfortable in this thing. It's pretty hot.
Oh, you look great. You look
Thank
great.
So we're gonna go over July. We were dispatched to 172 EMS calls. So far with that one that just went out, we have 919. Perfect timing, right? Requested for mutual aid 4 times. Average response time went up just a little bit this month. So it's right at 5 minutes, and you know how it goes. That could be calls at full 50, 60, Cinnamon Shore, Cinnamon Shore South. The more the Cinnamon Shore South is built up, the longer our response times are gonna get.
Stingray.
Yep, Stingray.
All 4.
Yeah. So we transported 61 people, treated 103 and released for non-life threatening injuries like jellyfish, stingrays, cuts and scrapes, the sniffles. Standby to the sniffles. There was a lot of those, and it's going around. So just take your vitamins. Yeah, wash your hands. Public Assist 2 and mutual aid. This says 0, but it was really 4. We just didn't want to add it to the overall calls. So for the month of July, we did a fireworks standby. We completed it with no major incidents. Chief Johnson went to the Whole Blood Academy Summit, and similar to what he's at now, there's all sorts of leaders from many services around the country. And what they do is they talk about how to get funding and different equipment and how they rolled Whole Blood into their EMS system, which leads me into the next thing of we are almost live. This will say Whole Blood now live. We're almost live. So they have to do one more site visit. We already have all of our equipment. And as soon as they do the final site visit, then they'll bring the bags of blood down. And it's not just whole blood, it's plasma and possibly PRBCs too. So we got the whole shebang, which is, very exciting. Hopefully we can save a lot more lives with it. And if not, we give our community the best possible chance of survival in the area. There's only 2% of all EMS agencies in the country are doing this. So there's about 11,000 EMS agencies in the country. Roughly 150 to 200 are doing it right now. top ones. And we're kind of leading it for the area, I would say like, sounds corny, but kind of the tip of the spear. And there's already a lot of EMS agencies in this area, in our rack, that have come to us asking how we do it and if we will train them on how to do it. So it's kind of flattering. Not surprised.
Very many in Texas doing it.
Yeah, Texas is kind of the pioneer in whole blood. So there are a lot more agencies in Texas than the other states around the country. Yeah. That's really it's kind of a short one tonight. Good for me.
Yeah.
But if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. If not, I can forward them to Daniel when he comes back.
I think you did a great job.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right, we need to put y'all in the EMS Olympics.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
The lifeguards did so good.
We talked about doing something like
do
that
it.
for our EMS conference in
Just
the
like
future.
some
Once
games.
we expand this building, we can do stuff like
Yeah.
that.
I noticed some of them are some of them EMTs and some of I noticed their shirts,
Some of
the search. and
yes,
rescue.
they are. Yeah, they got their.
I thought so, but yeah.
And they have very small protocols on what they can do compared to our EMTs. But yeah, they are a big help, especially with the jellyfish thing, cleansing, and moving patients. It's great. So I think there's actually going to be more than.
Good.
Yeah.
Thumbs out.
Yeah.
All right,
All
thank
right,
you,
thank
sir. We appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
being here. All right. Chief Stokes, your turn, sir.
Yes. Was out all last week, so I didn't get my report finished until tonight.
Trend.
I know.
On vacation in August, what y'all doing? Yeah.
We see
End
the
of
end
the
of the,
season.
we see the end of the season, so we're all.
Partying somewhere.
Yeah, that's how it sounds.
I was budget
tired.
It's a thick one, so I will try to get through it as quickly as possible. We did have a busy month in July. As you can see, we had a little over 2,600 calls. There's the breakdown by departments on where they went. We filed 976 municipal charges and we made 82 arrests. Out of the 82 people that were arrested, we filed 93 charges. So some people got multiple charges filed against them. We had 6 for warrants. 32 were for alcohol-related offenses, including DWI. We had 11 MIP, 7 were charged with assaultive offenses, 10 drug-related crimes, and we had a couple of weapons violations and 4 unauthorized use vehicles. That's usually a stolen vehicle statute there. Drug-related violations by minors were 11. And MIPs, we had 35 golf cart ones. As we know, 4th of July, we had the fireworks display, and we had more people in town than we knew what to do with. But luckily, we did have some strong support from the state, and they brought in some troopers. And we were supposed to have more game wardens, but God bless them, they got diverted up to the Kerrville area and had to help with search and rescue. So we didn't have as many wardens as we normally would have. But they were up there doing God's work, so we didn't mind that. So some of the significant events and things, I'll just give you a brief synopsis. You can read more about them in here, but to kick off 4th of July, we started off with a lady and charged her with indecency with a child, criminal mischief, and an assault. So we got called down to the beach around Horace Caldwell Pier, and there was an intoxicated female that was trying to engage a 16-year-old male in some sexual acts. There was another male family member that was trying to stop the interactions and what was going on, and he interceded and was assaulted and had his phone broken. And then when we arrived on scene, she did not want to cooperate with police, but we ended up arresting her for those criminal offenses that you see there. Indecency with a child by exposure, which is a felony 3, criminal mischief, which is a misdemeanor B, and assault by contact on a family member, which was a class C, and she was arrested here and taken over to the county. We had a stolen golf cart where a juvenile was arrested. This one was one of our local golf cart owners had some tracking devices on his golf cart and called in while he was tracking it down. And the golf cart ended up wrecking in front of him, and he was trying to grab a hold of the kid and the other one while they were running, and we were trying to find where he was. So it was a little chaotic scene, but we ended up getting the juvenile. That seems to be a big theme going on towards the end of the summer, juvenile arrests. This next one was also on July 4th over on the 600 block of Sandy Lane. It was a man, it got called in by the neighbors that could see inside the backyard. A man was assaulting a woman. And when we got there, the first officer on scene went to intervene, was ignored by the offender. Once we got a couple more there, we were able to take him into custody. We had a little bit of a fight with him. This is not the first contact we've had with him. We've had several with him. He's got an active protective order against the person that he was assaulting, so we took him into custody for that violation, along with the new assault. We had an unlawful carrying of a weapon with some narcotics. We had a traffic stop at pole 35. Once again, it was a bunch of kids, jumped out of the car and took off running. We focused on the one carrying the backpack. Backpack seems to be the indicator of not good behavior by the youngsters that are down on the beach. If we see somebody with a backpack, that's behavior that we start to focus on. And this is the very reason why, because then you stop them and they're carrying a gun and they got drugs on. The next unlawful carrying of a weapon that we had was a stolen gun. Once again, we had some kids. We were out there dispersing the crowd. Witnesses reported, somebody had brandished a weapon in the crowd. They had some video of it. We were able to corroborate it. And we were able to take hold of a 16-year-old male when he was attempting to interfere with us dealing with some of the other people. Searching, we found the Glock handgun, and it turned out to be stolen from Corpus Christi. So a caveat to this one here. So on July 4th, evening, night, sometime around, I don't know what time it occurred. It occurred in Corpus around pole 88, 90, somewhere in that area. Corpus had a shooting event. We ended up with some of the witnesses coming into Port A, and so we were working with Corpus on getting witnesses interviewed and things like that. So on the 5th, when we took these kids into custody, there were some indicators that they may have been at the shooting incident. So we worked with CCPD, and we believe that one of these juveniles was the actual shooter. So they were taking over that part of the investigation. I haven't gotten an update from CCPD, but that just goes to show you that they're coming into our jurisdiction, even from somewhere else. Even with us trying to keep them off our beach, they're still out there. We also had this aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. This was, we got a call with a man with a gun, and he had pulled it out and pointed it into a crowd of people. We were able to identify him. We recovered the handgun in a truck bed next to him. We had some video of that as well. So we were able to get enough to charge him with the deadly conduct and put him in jail. We had a little vehicle pursuit on the 18th of July around 1 o'clock in the morning. Tried to do a traffic stop on 361. The guy stopped initially, then he took off and drove through town a little bit. And when he ended up getting stuck in the ditch, he jumped out and ran on foot, but we were able to catch him and put him in jail for the evading and for running on foot. This next one is not very smart people. Disorderly conduct by a firearm display. So we got dispatched out to a local restaurant out on 361 for a person with a firearm. What happened is the guy was trying to cut in the to-go line, and the car in front of him wouldn't let him, so he decided to rack his pistol and just kind of hang it out the window. And they decided, well, you go ahead and get in line. called 911. So he's still in the food line when we get there, so we end up figuring out what was going on and took him into custody as well for that offense. Got another stolen vehicle with, once again, we had some juveniles, they were going down Palisade Drive, we have a bunch of video, different angles and cameras where they were just trying car doors, see which ones were open. They happened to find one that had left the key fob in the car. The kid had left the key fob in his car, so the door opened and they were able to start it up and they took off, and the owners were able to track the vehicle down to, I think, Station Street is where we ended up finding the vehicle, and the kids fled on foot. Luckily, a bunch of the local neighborhood, were helpful in that. We ended up catching them later on down on the beach. And once again, they were juveniles, and we had one adult that was with them, and we were able to kind of turn them on each other and got some good testimony on who did the actual stealing and if they had done any other crimes. So we're still working some of those leads there. We had a auto pedestrian accident. Thank goodness it was not very, the guy wasn't hurt very badly, but the vehicle stopped and then took off. So we had to chase them down, and they were not intending to see how the guy, if he was okay or not, but we ran him down and caught him, and he ended up having some weed in his car, so he went to jail for that. And that is the meat and potatoes of July 2025 from the police department's perspective. I tried to get through that to you as Reader Digest as possible, because everybody wants to get out, but I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has. We're looking
472 beach parking?
Yeah. Down though from 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he used to rack up about 6 something?
Are you fully staffed?
I am one dispatch position short.
Okay.
That is the only spot that I have open right now. We're taking applications for that. But I'm fully staffed everywhere.
You just go show them that new dispatch room when it's ready, and they're gonna all wanna work there.
I will need to show y'all some pictures of the furniture they got installed. Excuse me. It is absolutely gorgeous.
Good.
Yeah, y'all are gonna really like it when you get to finally walk in the building.
Excited for a tour, a completed tour. Any other questions for Chief Stokes? All right, thank you very much, sir. Great work. All right, item 8, city council comments and items for future consideration. All right, hearing none, we're adjourned.